My next guest has served as an informal advisor to President Trump on Iran, and while he wasn't made aware of the details of the strike against Soleimani before it happened, he fully backs President Trump's decision after long pushing for a more forceful approach in dealing with the Iranian regime. Here now, Republican Senator Tom Cotton, a member of the House of the Armed Services Committee, I should say, and an Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran. Senator, thank you for being here this evening. I guess her question is definitely one that is on the minds of Americans. What's the end goal here? How do you describe success with this current tension escalation with Iran?
Martha, the president put it well on Friday when he said he didn't act to start a war, he acted to stop a war. For months now, Iran has been escalating its aggression against the United States and our partners, bombing ships that are in the Persian Gulf, attacking an unmanned aircraft of ours back in June, striking Saudi Arabian oil fields, and increasing the pace and the scale of their attacks against our troops in Iraq. A couple Fridays ago, an American was killed. The president made it clear from the very beginning that if Iran killed an American, they would pay severe consequences. That's exactly what happened last week when he ordered the death of Qasem Soleimani. Let's remember who he was as well. He's been the terror mastermind of Iran for decades. He has the blood of thousands of Americans on his hands. So we didn't just get vengeance and justice for all those Americans who died at his hands and for their families, but we also made America safer in the future as well.
We have talked about that quite a bit, but I think that it is a question that's on people's minds because President Trump was going to end the endless wars. He's been in the middle of pulling our troops out of these areas. So if they do retaliate, what comes next? Then what happens? What do we do after that?
I would suggest to the Ayatollahs that they should think very carefully before they take any more action against Americans in the Middle East or anywhere else. Donald Trump showed just last week what happens when you kill a single American. He would order the killing of your terror mastermind. Let's remember, Qasem Soleimani was flying from Lebanon, where he had been visiting with Hezbollah, his terrorist proxy there, into Iraq. He was killed at the Baghdad International Airport, not with an Uber driver, but with the head of Hezbollah in Iraq as well. They were plotting to kill more Americans in Iraq and throughout the Middle East. That's the lesson that the Ayatollahs need to take away from this. The president, nor I, nor many other Americans want to start another war, but we aren't going to let Iran wage a proxy war against us without fighting back.
All right. I want to play a soundbite from Michael Bennet, who is a Democrat running for president. Here's what he had to say about the president's action.
You know, I hate to say this, but I think it's President Trump raising his middle finger at the Congress. For us to now be sending 3,500 troops to the Middle East without taking account of what we've been doing for the last 20 years on the basis of the president's impetuous, uninformed, and weak decision, I think creates a lot of peril.
What do you say to Senator Bennet on that?
Well, I think it's important to remember that these troops are part of our global response force. They're on a 2-hour recall. When I was in the Army, we prepared our brigade to be on that 2-hour recall, to be deployed anywhere within 24 hours to a hot spot around the world. They're not going to the Middle East to be an advanced force to invade Iran or to occupy Iran, as we saw in Afghanistan or Iraq in the last 20 years. They're going simply to augment our defenses, to be prepared for any strike and hopefully to deter such strikes. You wouldn't expect the president to make those decisions in long consultation with Congress. That's why we have a single commander-in-chief to make decisions that have to be made quickly and decisively.
So, you know, in terms of him saying that the president is giving the middle finger to Congress, what do you think?
Well, Michael's running for president, and I understand the Democratic Party activists sometimes like that kind of rhetoric. The president has been consulting with Congress. He's going to send the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, and the CIA Director in just a couple days to brief everyone once they're finally back in Washington. I was in the office today. I reviewed all the classified briefings that they had sent over. I had all my questions answered. The president acted decisively for a target of opportunity last week, and his administration is going to be briefing Congress fully this week.
We look forward to hearing some of that. Senator Tom Cotton, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight.
Thanks, Martha.